Hi everyone, my name is Erin O'Connor and I'm the Unit Coordinator for PYB207. This is a short summary of the information session that we ran today. I want to just give you a quick overview of the unit. Feel free to pause these slides at any time if you'd like to read more. It's a 12 credit point unit, so it's a normal sized elective unit in our program. The entry requirements are that you've completed all first and second year core units. Occasionally I realise double degree students will have a mix of second and third year units that they're completing, so you can apply for an exemption if that's the case, but we're quite strict about the requirements there, so apply and see what happens. It is marked pass-fail, and that concerns people sometimes, but what it means is that there's no impact on your GPA. So if you imagine that your GPA is now calculated, maybe you've done 8 units and your GPA is the total achievement added up across all those units divided by 8. If you were to do PYB207 next semester and no other subjects, it would still be your GPA divided by 8 subjects rather than 9. It's 50 hours in the placement, so you do need to be at a site or actively engaged with the community partner for 50 hours. We have workshops across semester that you need to come to, and I've put in just some example weeks as a guide. These are the weeks that we're meeting this semester. It's just a bit of a guide of what you can expect in the unit, but don't take that as the final timetable for next semester. And you enrol through the normal processes for PYB 207. I will say that blue cards are strongly encouraged. They are used by a lot of organisations regardless of whether you're working with children, so it is a really great idea to apply for a blue card. You can do that by googling Blue Card Queensland, going to the student forms, printing them off, filling them out and handing them in to the F Block staff at QUT Kelvin Grove. They will, as long as you bring along some ID, they will process that application for you, and student and volunteer blue cards are free. If you already have a blue card, we'll just get you to fill out a form at the start of the subject that transfers your blue card over to be able to be used at QUT as well. If you have any questions throughout the rest of this presentation, there's my email address at the bottom. Please let me know. Okay, so the semester plan, just a little bit of information here. I like to start with the assessment because people are normally most curious about this. For PYB 207, everything's marked pass-fail. There's a proposal which does include some selection criteria, a learning plan that you write, a profile of the organisation that you're going to go into, and a risk assessment of the placement. So that is through an official QUT process, and it has to be approved by a QUT Workplace Health and Safety Officer before you start. The supervisor then signs off on 50 hours of contribution and marks you against your learning plan to say whether you passed or failed your learning goals. The final piece of assessment is after you've done those 50 hours and you've had them all signed off, you need to submit some reflections. One component is 1,500 words of written reflection using the 4R model, and you may have seen the 4R model in some other subjects. Feel free to search for it on QUT website if you haven't seen it before. You also need to present a final conference presentation in video form. The classes that we do at QUT are a little bit different to lectures. They're much more workshops. We talk about a whole range of different issues. That includes careers, social justice, of course reflections, the different strengths that we might have, how we work with community and professional environments. We also do a little bit of mindfulness practice, and the final class is a presentation of the outcomes, and that's a bit of a celebration. We do have a little bit of food. We try and make sure it's in a nice venue. Okay, so there's 2 different ways that you can complete the requirements for PYB 207. The assessment is essentially the same in both options, but the placement that you complete looks a little bit different. Across both semesters, 1 and 2, you can do the CEL Community Engaged Learning Lab. This includes multidisciplinary teams working with a community partner on an issue that the partner has suggested. You might be working with business students, education students, law students, creative industry students, justice students. There's a whole range of different people involved. Most of these classes are at Gardens Point, and typically they're held on a Friday afternoon. There are some on-site sessions that you'll be doing, so going to your community partner or at Kelvin Grove. When you join a team, you'll be given a team tutor for that project, and that could be from any discipline, so not necessarily me. However, all psychology students will then meet with me at different points in the semester, normally at Kelvin Grove, and we'll have discipline meetings where all of the psychology students come together to talk about the issues in their placement. The benefits of this is that you do contribute to large ongoing projects with significant investment from the community partner. So these projects are very much valued by the community partners, and they often participate with us across a number of years. So you're not expected to solve all of the problems, but you are expected to make a meaningful contribution to the ongoing projects. The other benefit is that you do have some workshops with university-based experts on design thinking and social justice. So you really do have access to some people outside the School of Psychology who are experts in those fields. Some of the examples, and I did show a really engaging video at the workshop, so you've missed out on that, but we do have partners with Endeavour Foundation, Anglicare, Queensland Corrections, Kyabra Community, Cherbourg Community, and almost all of these projects are focused on serving disadvantaged communities or marginalised communities. So it's a really interesting way to give back and learn a whole lot more about a group you may not be interacting with in your day-to-day life. Okay, in semester 2 only, we do offer single discipline placements. These are normally from a list that I find placements and I distribute them to you in O Week, but they can also be a nominated placement that you find yourself with approval. So if you are already volunteering somewhere, or you know that there's an organisation you really want to work with, this is a possibility in second semester. You may also have a professional, like an organisational psychologist, that you want to work with, and that's fine too. All of these classes are at Kelvin Grove with me running the classes generally, unless something terrible happens to me. And we have some expert guests come in. They're from Careers and Employment, and we also have counselling services come in and do a mindfulness session with us. These sessions can be at different times in the timetable. We try and manage overlap with other core classes as much as we can, but all we can do is try and minimise clashes with third year core classes. So there may be clashes in timetables that we have to work around from time to time, and sometimes I offer online classes as well for this group. What are some examples? Organisational psychologists, the Salvos, different community centres, government, Queensland Research, and I know that in the coming semester we'll have a couple of extra placements that are in single discipline around Queensland Corrections, and also a few additional companies joining us. So not all community organisations. In semester 1 of 2013, there will be a small number of single discipline projects that I'm going to offer. So there won't be a full list, and you won't be able to nominate your own, but there will be a small number of single discipline team projects at Queensland Corrections, SWARA, which is a community group for adults living with a disability, and at QUT in our Institute for Health and Biomedical Innovation in their youth, drug and alcohol area. This will include a mix of Gardens Point and Kelvin Grove classes, and they'll all be supervised by me as a psychology coordinator. They will be small teams, so 2 to 3 people, and they will be focused only for these organisations. The others will be in multidisciplinary teams with all of their classes at Gardens Point, similar to the first example that I showed you. So these are the only exceptions to that semester 1 slide that we'll be offering next year in semester 1. Semester 2 will progress as normal with both options running. I hope that this has given you a little bit of information about how everything is working in PYB207. It's a little bit of a different subject. I actually think it's a really rewarding way to find out how can you apply all of your psychology skills to an organisation that really needs your help and really values what you're doing. It's brilliant for your CV, and it's also a way to build up new contacts as you're planning on leaving the undergraduate degree. So you've got a better network of colleagues when you finish. Thanks for your time, and email me if you have any questions.